And I'm pleased to say Emily Reuben, who you saw a little bit briefly in Stuart's piece there, is joining us now. Emily, thank you and good morning. Just to clarify, you're the co-founder of the charity Duchenne UK. Tell us a little bit about how severe the impact is when families cannot access this drug.
Well, good morning, Lakshmi, and thank you so much for having me on. I think what's so devastating about this situation is that up until November last year, all that families had to contend with was the reality of living with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And I can't sugarcoat that reality, that diagnosis. You know, every family I speak to, they remember that moment of diagnosis with absolute painful clarity, because you imagine your son growing into the next Jude Bellingham or the next Owen Farrell. And what happened to my family and what happens to many families is you're told by the doctors, no, that's not going to happen. In fact, your son, who on the outside looks healthy, his muscles are actually dying. And the cruelty about Duchenne is that you are rendered powerless as a parent, and your one overriding urge and job to nurture and protect your child is ripped away from you by this diagnosis. And so now we're in a situation where not only are parents dealing with that, but they're also facing a gross injustice. And that is that a free medicine was offered to families back in November, and only a handful of patients are accessing it. And there is something worse than having no treatment for your condition. And that is knowing that there is a treatment that's been approved as safe and effective, but you can't access it because you happen to live in one area of the country and you're seeing children in another area who are getting it. And it's causing such grief and distress amongst the families we support, which is why we launched our Time is Muscle campaign back in November, to make sure that the trusts do the right thing and give this drug to the boys who need it.
Emily, good morning. It's Ben here as well. And let's just be really clear on the drug. So this is something that would slow down the development of the condition. It's not a cure, is it? And it was conditionally approved in December, offered for free under an early access programme while it was awaiting for full NHS approval. Just explain where we are on that scale of approval. Has this got the green light to be prescribed in the UK?
Well, Ben, it's a good question. The drug was given a conditional authorization by the MHRA, the Medicines Health Regulatory Authority, in December. And what happens next is that companies have to take their drugs to NICE, and then NICE review them for their cost effectiveness. And that is happening in July. But every day that these boys are without this drug, their muscles are dying. So every day really matters. And this is why we were very grateful to the company when in November they offered the drug for free while the drug was being assessed by the regulators. And they've offered it throughout Europe and in the UK. And just as a comparison, in Italy, there are over 130 boys now being given givinostat. And in the UK, it's still a handful.
And there is a time element here, isn't it? Because this drug needs to be administered before the condition progresses to a stage where it can't help. Is that right?
Well, currently the company is offering it for ambulant patients, but they've also said they will offer it to boys who are not walking. But what we're experiencing is the trusts saying no to delivering this medicine, and we want to roll it out to boys who can walk and also boys who cannot walk, because for them there is still a benefit in taking this drug and help to keep their arms moving and help their breathing in the longer term. So we are pushing on all fronts. What's so challenging about it, you know, as I said, is that some trusts are delivering and others are not. And we just have to persuade those trusts to do the right thing by these patients. This is a free drug. It's 2 spoonfuls of medicine a day with some extra blood tests. It really shouldn't be breaking the system.
And we asked the government for a response to this story, and the Health and Social Care Secretary met with families and Duchenne UK to learn more about their experiences. The government went on to say that he's aware of their concerns and will update in due course. How reassuring is that for you, and how much hope does it give you that things may progress in the way you hope?
Well, last weekend in Scotland, because of the intervention of the Health Secretary, Neil Gray, all of the trusts did a U-turn and they're now delivering givinostat. Unfortunately, in England, the setup is slightly different. And so the Secretary of State for Health and Social Care cannot directly compel the trusts to act and to deliver givinostat. But he met with myself and my co-founder, Alex, and our sons, Eli and Jack. And he said to us, listen, I don't normally get involved in things like this, but I've been so moved by your story and by the unfairness of this that I want to help. And we hope that the Health Secretary will follow up on that and will help us in this campaign. But the system isn't set up to allow him to do that. What is stopping this is the CEOs of the trusts and the senior leadership teams, who often don't have patience in making those strategic decisions, and they are the ones who are standing in the way of our boys getting these drugs.
Well, Emily, it's been really good to talk to you and to hear your perspective on this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No,